One dirty $20 part could be wrecking your engine's performance, and most drivers are clueless. I've seen drivers waste thousands chasing a fix that takes 10 minutes and a $5 can of cleaner. If your engine is stalling, surging, or just running like trash, and you've been quoted $800 to fix it, don't get ripped off. Stick with me. I'll show you the exact steps that will make your engine run like new. Let's dive in. Trick number 15, the forgotten gas cap cure. That gas cap you haven't looked at in years. It's not just a lid, it holds the entire pressure system together. When the gas cap is cracked, dirty, or doesn't seal right, your fuel system loses pressure. That messes with your air-fuel ratio, and suddenly, you've got rough idling, random stalling, and a check engine light that won't go away. Here's what to do. Spray WD-40 on a clean cloth, not directly on the cap, and wipe the threads and rubber seal. Also, check if you're even using the right cap. Some cars need vented caps, others don't. Get it wrong, and you'll build or lose pressure where you shouldn't. For a permanent fix, upgrade to a Viton-lined cap. It seals tight, resists heat, and lasts for years. If your engine still feels sluggish after that, it might be choking on dirty fuel. Trick number 14, the fuel filter fix. A dirty filter makes your engine feel tired, even if everything else is working. Worse, it puts extra stress on your fuel pump until that fails too. Check your manual or service records. If it has exceeded 30,000 miles, replace the fuel filter. Here's how to fix it. Before touching anything, relieve the fuel pressure. Pull the fuel pump fuse, start the engine, let it stall, and shut it off. Now, locate the fuel filter. It's usually under the car along the fuel line, or up by the firewall. Pop the old one off, install the new one in the correct direction, follow the arrow, and reattach everything tightly. Finally, put the fuse back. Turn the key to on for a few seconds to prime the system, then start the engine. But fuel is not the only thing that needs to breathe. Your crankcase does too. Trick number 13, the PCV Cleanse. This little $10 part pulls toxic gases out of your crankcase and routes them back to be safely burned. When the PCV valve is clean, your engine stays strong. When it's clogged, pressure builds, oil leaks start, and wear increases significantly. Here's the worst part. Most drivers don't know the PCV valve exists, and dealers don't check it. By the time it fails, you're burning oil and losing compression. Here's how to clean the PCV valve. Step 1. Locate it, usually on the valve cover or intake manifold. Step 2. Pop it out of the hose or grommet. Step 3. Shake it. If it rattles, it's flowing. If not, it's clogged. Step 4. Spray carb or brake cleaner inside. Let it sit. Shake out the gunk. Step 5. Let it dry fully, then reinstall it tight. Trick number 12, the spark surge protocol. Misfires, leggy throttle, trash fuel economy? That's not your fuel system. It's your spark plugs begging for retirement. If your ignition's weak, your engine is too. And waiting for the check engine light is a stupid strategy. Here's what to do. If your plugs are over 30,000 miles old, ditch them. Still running a distributor? Replace the cap, rotor, wires, and use copper plugs. If you have a waste spark setup, use platinum or iridium. For coil-on plug, stick with OEM iridium, or upgrade to NGK ruthenium HX. They cost more, but they slam the spark every time and last 100,000 plus miles. I've tested these plugs myself. The throttle response becomes noticeably sharper. Cold starts feel much smoother. And in one case, a driver even gained an extra 4 miles per gallon overnight, just by replacing the spark plugs and wires. Don't let a lazy spark hold your engine hostage. But even with a killer spark, a lying sensor can still sabotage everything. Trick number 11. Mass airflow sensor wake up. The mass airflow sensor tells your engine how much fuel to mix with air. But when it's dirty, it starts guessing. And it usually guesses wrong. That means your engine runs rich. You burn more fuel. Your throttle gets jerky. And your check engine light throws a tantrum. Here's how to clean the MAF sensor. Step 1. Locate the MAF sensor. You'll find it mounted on the intake hose, just after the air filter box and before the throttle body. Unplug it gently and remove the sensor. Don't touch the wires inside. They're thinner than hair and expensive to replace. Step 2. You've got 2 cleaning options. Drop it into a Ziploc bag with rubbing alcohol and swish gently. Or use a dedicated MAF sensor cleaner like Gum Out. It's faster and safer. Step 3. Let it air dry for at least 20 minutes. Then reinstall it, plug it in, and seal up your air box. If you're learning something new, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's keep moving. Trick number 10. Throttle body power wash. Here's the brutal truth about the throttle body. Carbon builds up as early as 30,000 miles, but most people don't touch it until 75,000. By then, your throttle's choked, your idle's rough, and your fuel trims are all over the place. You're either running too rich, wasting gas, or running lean and burning hot. Either way, your engine's in danger. And no, this isn't a mechanic-only fix. Here's how to clean the throttle body. Step 1. Shut the engine off, then disconnect the battery. Forget this, and you risk triggering a throttle recalibration issue. Step 2. Remove the intake hose. Label everything. Don't mix up the lines. Step 3. Spray the throttle body with real throttle cleaner. Let it soak before touching it. That's where most folks screw up. Step 4. Gently scrub the carbon off with a cloth or toothbrush. You'll see black sludge come loose. Wipe it all down. Step 5. Let it air dry. Then reassemble everything tightly. Trick number 9. The air filter fix. Your engine breathes air, just like you, and when that air filter is clogged, your engine starts gasping. You'll lose power. Throttle response tanks. Here's the part no one tells you. A dirty filter doesn't trap more dust. That's a myth. It just chokes your engine, burns more fuel, and makes everything louder and slower. So here's how to replace or clean the air filter. If you just cleaned your throttle body, keep going. That same intake hose connects to the air cleaner box. Pop the lid, check the filter. If it's gray, dusty, or packed with leaves, replace it. Filters cost $25 to $100, but save you hundreds in lost fuel and sluggish performance. Most should be replaced every 12,000 to 15,000 miles, or sooner if you drive in dusty conditions. Bonus tip: use the right size. Don't jam it in. A bent or oversized filter leaks air around the edges. Once done, close the lid, snap the latches, and reconnect the hose to your throttle body. Trick number 8. Injector mist reset. Your engine's power depends on one thing: a crisp fuel mist, not a dribble, not a sputter. A pressurized, razor-fine spray that hits right every time. But after 30,000 miles, that spray pattern starts falling apart. You get buildup, gunk, sticky varnish clogging your injectors, and suddenly your engine's running lean, rich, or just flat wrong. And here's the kicker: top-tier gas won't fix it. Cleaning your fuel injectors will. Solution 1. Start simple. Grab a quality fuel system cleaner, Seafoam, Techron, B16, and run it through a low tank. It might clear light junk, but if the symptoms are already there, that's not enough. Solution 2. Bring in the big guns. A pro shop with a pressurized fuel rail kit can blast that hardened carbon off in minutes. Clean your fuel injectors every 30,000 to 40,000 miles. And it's way cheaper than waiting for a misfire and shelling out $900 for new injectors. One warning: don't let your mechanic upsell you a full fuel system replacement unless you've confirmed the injectors are toast with an OBD2 scan. Trick number 7, carbon exorcism method. That black, baked-on sludge isn't just ugly. It clogs your intake valves, coats your pistons, smothers combustion, and every time you skip a long drive or pump cheap gas, you're feeding it. This isn't surface-level dirt. It's the kind that steals horsepower, trashes your mileage, and makes your engine feel like it's dragging a trailer uphill. Here's how to clean carbon buildup. Option 1, fuel additive. Use Seafoam, Techron, or B16. Pour it into a nearly empty tank, top off with fuel, and drive it hard. It'll clean out light buildup, but don't expect miracles. Option 2, walnut blasting. This is the real deal. A shop blasts crushed walnut shells into the intake ports, scrubbing valves without damage. It's the only way to deep clean a direct injection engine where fuel never touches the valves. This isn't optional maintenance, it's a performance revival. Trick number 6, the Octane armor rule. Let's kill this myth right now. Premium gas doesn't give you more power. It's not stronger, and it won't make your old Corolla faster. Here's what matters: octane. Higher octane equals more knock resistance. That's crucial if you're running turbo boost, towing heavy, or driving a car tuned for E85, ethanol blends, or performance tunes. Using low-octane fuel in an engine that requires high octane is a dangerous gamble. When the octane rating is too low for your engine's needs, the fuel can ignite too early, before the piston reaches the top of its stroke. This early ignition, known as detonation, creates a violent pressure spike inside the cylinder. Instead of helping the engine run smoothly, that pressure hits the piston at the wrong time, slamming into it as it's still rising. Over time, this can cause serious internal damage, busting pistons, bending rods, and even cracking cylinder walls. Even if it doesn't grenade your engine, low-grade fuel runs dirtier. It leaves carbon on injectors, valves, sensors, and you start losing power, burning more gas, and getting worse throttle response. What to do instead? Stick with top-tier fuel brands. They include extra detergents to keep your fuel system clean. Trick number 5, synthetic oil shield routine. When you let oil sit too long, especially in an older, high-mileage engine, it starts breaking down. It thickens, it forms sludge. And that sludge doesn't just sit in the pan, it clogs passages, starves the top end, and turns cold, starts into dry starts. That's where 80% of engine wear actually happens, in the first few seconds after you turn the key. But when you run full synthetic oil, you get instant protection. It flows faster, clings better, and shields your moving parts before they grind metal on metal. And yes, stick to the right viscosity. If your manual says 5W30, don't pour in 10W40 just because it was cheaper at the parts store. Change your oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, especially if you drive short trips, sit in traffic, or own an older engine. That's not paranoia, it's insurance. And here's a bonus move. If your oil filter mounts upright, pre-fill it before installation. If it doesn't, disable the fuel pump and crank the engine for a few seconds after the change. That reduces dry start friction and protects your bearings when pressure builds. But oil can't do its job if your engine's running too hot or too cold. Trick number 4, thermostat timing fix. This is the most overlooked part of the cooling system, but it is arguably the second most important. The coolant and thermostat work together to keep the engine's temperature under control. When the engine runs too hot, it burns oil and can also lead to increased fuel consumption. The thermostat is not easy to locate, as it is hidden between the engine and the radiator. When the engine is cold, the thermostat stays closed to prevent coolant from keeping the temperature down. This allows the car to reach its optimal temperature quicker. When the engine reaches its operating temperature, which is between 195 degrees Fahrenheit and 220 degrees Fahrenheit, the thermostat opens. If the thermostat sticks shut, your car will overheat quickly, and it will be difficult to determine why. If the thermostat sticks open, it will flood the engine with coolant and can cause irreparable harm. That is why it is good practice to replace the thermostat often. A typical thermostat should last for about 10 years or 100,000 miles, but that's not a risk you should take. Replace it every 4 to 5 years, or have it inspected during the coolant flush. Most mechanics will do this anyway, but mention it just to be safe. When you replace the thermostat, only use OEM parts. They cost about $25 more than aftermarket parts, but they are worth it. This could save you thousands of dollars in repairs, so it's not worth the risk. Many modern cars use electrically assisted or map-controlled thermostats. These are more precise, but they are also more feeble, so they should also be replaced every 4 years. The next thing you need to do won't cost you much, but ignoring it can cost you your engine. Trick number 3, radiator cap replacement. This part is a pressure regulator. It holds around 13 to 16 psi, depending on your car. That pressure keeps your coolant stable, even at temperatures as high as 267 degrees Fahrenheit. But when the cap gets weak, and over time they all do, that pressure drops. And once that happens, your coolant starts boiling at just 212 degrees. That's a 45-degree difference. And in engine terms, that's the difference between normal operation and a full-blown overheat. Here's what fails. The spring inside loses tension, the rubber seal gets hard and brittle, it can't hold pressure like it used to, steam builds up, coolant escapes, and suddenly, your engine's on the edge of a breakdown. Most people blame the thermostat, or the fan, or a blown hose, but the real problem? It's often this $10 cap. Here's what to do. Wait until the engine is completely cold. Twist off the old cap, replace it with a new one, same PSI rating as stamped on the old one. It takes 5 minutes, costs less than lunch, and it could save you from a $3,000 head gasket job. Trick number 2, the coolant compatibility code. One of the worst myths that can ruin your engine is that all coolants are the same. Coolant is one of the most sensitive fluids in your car because it has many functions. Besides absorbing excess heat from the engine, coolant reduces rust and corrosion. Because coolant is a mixture of antifreeze and water, so it protects against freezing. The major danger of using the wrong coolant is engine rust. Unfortunately, it might take up to a year before you notice any problems. If you've been replacing your radiator often, using the wrong coolant might be the culprit. But that's if you're lucky. The worst case scenario is that the bearings melt or the engine head cracks. This could set you back over $4,000. Only use the coolant recommended in your manual. Fortunately, you don't have to do this often. Coolant can last up to 7 years or 150,000 miles. Here's an expert tip. Always use distilled water when diluting antifreeze for your coolant. While some instructions say you can use tap or bottled water, it is not ideal for modern engines. Distilled water does not contain minerals, salt, or other impurities found in tap water. As a result, it does a better job of preventing corrosion. These impurities can also form deposits within the cooling system that can cause overheating. Alternatively, you can use pre-diluted coolant. This ensures that you have the right ratio of antifreeze and water. Before you top up your coolant, inspect the coolant reservoir. If you see debris or notice that the color has changed, you need to take the next step. Trick number 1, Radiator Flush Protocol. Most manuals, like Toyota's, recommend coolant changes after 30,000 miles for silicate-based coolants and 100,000 miles for extended drain coolants. Silicate-based coolants are typically green, while extended drain coolants are often gold or orange. However, most experts recommend a coolant flush every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. Just like every other fluid, coolants break down. When it occurs, corrosion can quickly accumulate in your radiator, and the engine may begin to overheat. So, how do you know when you need a coolant flush? If there's a sweet smell from under the hood, it means that the coolant is overheating. Other signs include constant overheating and a gurgling noise when you start the engine. The gurgling sound means the most obvious sign that you need a coolant flush is visible dirt or color changes. You also need a flush if you've been using the wrong coolant. Now that you've got your engine running like new, don't stop here. Most cars still die early because of 17 bad habits drivers repeat daily. In the next video, I'll show you the exact steps that took my car to 700,000 miles. Click the video on screen to watch it now.